top the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back. eSIM Studios Podcast Live Stream, episode number 197. I want to thank everybody for joining us today on this Sunday afternoon/evening, depending on wherever you are located at. My name is Taylor Bell, and we are here to discuss today's technology headlines. What's in the news? What's going on with everybody? I'm testing some headphones from Tozo, so they sent these over to me for free. So I tested them out. So I'm doing what I do and testing them out. So I actually wanted to try another stream with Chromebook. So if the setup looks a little different than normal, it's because I'm streaming from a Chromebook. I wanted to give it a try, test it out, see how StreamYard, who I use as my stream platform, is a browser-based. This makes it very easy. You can do it from your phone, which kind of sucks, but you can do it from your phone. You can do it from your laptop, from desktop, whatever you want. MacBook, Mac OS, Windows, Android, iPhone, whatever you got. So I know we are typically an Android-based YouTube channel. I know you might be shocked by the thumbnail. Yeah, look, we got to cover the big tech. Well, we have to cover everything in technology, right? So that includes iPhone, yes. Look, as an Android user, you want to know what your competitors are, right? So if you're, let's say, a sports franchise or team like the San Antonio Spurs or the Kansas City Chiefs, you want to know your competition, what you're facing up against. So we're going to cover Apple. Technically, they're the competition, but it is what it is, right? So, and honestly, I can always find stuff to talk about. It just depends on how nerdy you want to get. Or, listen, I can go all the way nerd. But, depends on how interested you are going to be. So, basically, in the news, nothing but Apple. Rightfully so, right? So, Apple tomorrow, I believe it's 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, is launching the iPhone 16 series. They're launching the Apple Watch 10 series, and they're also launching the AirPods 4. Now, I did find some Android news to satisfy most of you out there. I was going to do a Pixel. I had a thumbnail and everything ready for. I might save it for Tuesday, because tomorrow I'm going to be doing Apple stuff again. Again, for better for worse, but it is what it is. This Pixel is. I'm going to do a final review on this Pixel 9 Pro XL. It's awesome. It's badass. I love it. So. We'll get a review of that in, and we'll see where the week goes. But before we get into some Apple news, Samsung news, I want to let everybody know that if you do miss some or part or all of this podcast episode, you can always go to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel. That's our home base. I'm actually streaming on bunch of channels, bunch of platforms. So if you missed this, just go to YouTube and type in eSIM Studios, catch the full episode. Also, if you want to listen to the audio form, you can catch us on any podcast platform in the world. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio app. We are there. Just search eSIM Studios and we got you covered. And you can always go down here eSIMstudios.app. That's the cool spot. That's where I can come incorporate everything in technology and dump it on eSIMstudios.app. We have tech news. We have deals in tech, the best tech deals. We have the eSIM Studios podcast. We have the YouTube channel there. You can actually watch it there on the app. And among a ton of other things, right? We got a lot of stuff there. So, and that's where we'll go right now to catch some of this news. As you can tell, I have the big flat screen streaming the podcast as well. Don't let that distract you. Let's see here. So, all you got to do, eSIMstudios.app. Takes you right there. Now let me share this screen and we will get into some news. How does that look? Good? What does it look like on the big screen? It's a couple seconds behind. Okay, I won't bore you. Let's get into it. So, check this out. We got let's see, where are we? So it looks like, there we go. It looks like, so here's what's going to be launched on the Apple, what do they call it? GlowTime? Yeah. I'm rolling my eyes if you're listening to the podcast. We're expecting a few different product announcements on Monday's event. Number one, obviously hardware. And let's get into it. So, as I mentioned, iPhone 16. How much will the iPhone 16 cost? Are they going to raise prices? Oh, speaking of, got case reviews. So check this out. This is a case review for the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I'll do that another day. Binks. Y'all know Binks. I've done quite a few reviews of their cases and their products. Binks. B-E-N-K-S. Kevlar. Look at that. Real Kevlar. Look at this case. Look at that design. Ooh, that looks nice. iPhone 16 Pro. We're going to review that. Now, check this out. If you haven't, well, I guess if you're listening to this, you're not looking, but I'm showing the Binks cases that they sent over. Thank you, Binks. Not only did they send those two cases, they also sent this screen protector that I will install. Now, just to give you a sneak peek, check this out. These are really, really cool. Look at this case. It's like a woven design. You see it in the light. It's really, really thin. Got the MagSafe connector in there. It's really super thin. Now, check this out. Apple also has on this iPhone 16 series, they're going to put a dedicated button. And it looks like your typical 5G antenna. So let me show you what I'm talking about. It's going to be dedicated for cameras. So taking pictures, start recording on video. So if you have any newer smartphone, has this little thing on there, right? So here's the power buttons, but if you go towards the back of the device, you see that little thing right there on the side? That's the 5G antenna. So Apple's basically going to incorporate a button, not the antenna, but it's going to look just like this. They're going to have a button on the side, And they're also going to have an action button, right? So they're going to have a dedicated action button. They're going to have a dedicated camera button. So it'll obviously start recording video, and it'll also take pictures. You can see that cut out right down here. So this cutout is for the action button. Or excuse me. This is for the camera. And then this cutout up here is the action button. So it's going to have a dedicated video and camera button. And then you're going to have the action button for whatever app you want. And then on this side, you got your cutouts for the power and volume rocker. Really cool case. This is the Pro. So remember, they increased the screen size. Last year's 15 Pro is a 6.1 inch display. This year it's going to be a 6.34 display. Decent size, still pretty small. Again, used to big Android devices, but we'll see. No, I'm actually gonna leave my primary SIM in an Android device. I'm not making the switch, but I can honestly make a live. Have you seen those videos where it says a lifelong Apple user tries Android for the first time? Now, this won't be my first time, so it'll be a little tease, but halfway true. But I'm going to make videos, a lifelong Android user tries iPhone for the first time. I mean, it won't be the first time, but you get it. And then check this out real quick, then we'll get into it. I know most of you Android guys are probably tired of it. But like I said, look, competition. We need to know what Apple is bringing to the table so we can beat them. As you can tell, got my OnePlus shirt on, so don't think I'm jumping ship, guys. Don't think I am jumping ship, because I'm not. Here's their other case. I'm trying to get in the right lighting. That's the Kevlar one. Pretty cool. Got MagSafe in there again. Again, this is Binks. And I believe this pops out. Does it? Nope, it doesn't. It's just a camera protector. So pretty small phone, but it is what it is. All right. And then we have the Pixel 9 Pro case review. That we got a bunch of those here that we will do. Let's jump back into it. So, are they going to be raising the prices? We don't know for sure, right? But it might be a real thing. Now, unfortunately, that's been a common occurrence for us Android users. Google raised the prices on Pixels. Samsung raised the prices on did they raise prices on foldables? I believe so. And their flagship Galaxy S24 series got a price hike. We don't know about Nothing. Now, technically, of course, the Phone 3 is not going to be out till next year. I'm expecting them to raise the price slightly. Not a lot, not $100, but maybe $50, $49, maybe up from $649 to $699, something like that. On the Nothing Phone 2A, technically they did raise the price. However, it's not exactly the same phone. They did put a upgraded processor in this, and they did raise the price $50. So inflation is hitting the technology world as well as everything else, right? Grocery bill higher, food bill higher, and phones are no different. But current prices for iPhone 15 start at $799, 15 Plus $899, 15 Pro $999, and the Pro Max at $1199. The experts behind the scenes, including one expert, one analysis firm, expects the price of the iPhone 16 Pro to raise $100. So in the iPhone 15 Pro started at $999. We're expecting this new 16 Pro to start at essentially $1,100, right? $1,000 last year, $1,100 this year. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now, Apple is going to raise the base storage, so no more 128. It looks like, and we need Android to adopt this. So Apple base storage starts at 256. Not 128 anymore. 256 is where they're going to start the storage. So most, I think in another year or two, you'll eventually see, I'm not going to say everyone, but most everyone. There may be a company like, I don't know, some off-brand, especially the cheaper ones, like, what are those cheap Android phones? Blue, I believe, or I'm trying to think of some random phone company. You'll probably still see 128, but all the flagships, nothing, Samsung, OnePlus, Google, especially you, Google, we need storage to start at 256. So Apple's taking the charge here, and we need everybody else to fall in line. That's one thing I would like to see Android adopt from Apple, right? M4 Max. Now, timeout. They're not releasing these tomorrow, but we did get new information that they are getting ready to launch M4 MacBooks in November. So currently the only M4 chip you can find that's available to the market is on the latest iPad Pro, but they're going to start releasing MacBooks with the M4 chip here in November. So we will look forward to that. It says there's a new Apple event in October that will include the iPad mini. We didn't know on the fence. Apple might release the iPad mini alongside the iPhone 16 series, alongside the Apple Watch 10, alongside the AirPods 4 tomorrow. But as we get closer and closer to the GlowTime, it looks like they're going to push that back. So they're going to release the iPad mini. This will be the iPad mini 7 in October next month. So you'll see iPhones, you'll see watches, you'll see AirPods released tomorrow. October, you'll see the new iPad mini 7. November, you're going to see the new MacBooks with the M4 chip that we just talked about. So Apple's going to have a really, really, really busy end of the year here in these next few months. Let's see. iPhone SE4, not expected to be launched tomorrow, but expected to be launched sometime between now and the end of the year. So we don't know if it's going to be alongside the iPad mini 7 in October, if it's going to be alongside the new MacBooks in November. We just don't know. But be on the lookout. New iPhone SE 4 will be on the way. All right. Now, are we going to see iOS 18 stable version tomorrow? Let's see what they're not going to release. So these two Apple Intelligence features will not be expected until iOS 18.2, right? And that's going to be down the line. So these are still months away from being released to the public. So, Apple's, again, if you're sick and tired of the AI term, as I am, you may have to watch the Apple event with headphones on like these, or with your fingertips in your ears, because I guarantee you they're going to be saying AI, 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 like every other word. So just beware. I know you get sick and tired of it as I do, but it is what it is. So Mark Gurman, a quote-unquote Apple insider, said that Apple now plans to make the Image Playground feature for generating images and the Genmoji feature for generating custom emojis available in iOS 18.2 will be released in December. So if you've been twiddling your thumbs waiting around for these new features to hit your iPhone, you're going to have to wait another couple months, right? So what is Image Playground? Image Playground produces fun, original images in seconds with Image Playground experience right in your apps. Create an entirely new image based on description, suggested concepts, and even a person from your photos library. You can easily adjust the style and make changes to match a message thread, your freeform board, or a slide-in keynote. So here's the screenshots, images of the generation, what is it called? Image Playground. Now, brand new Genmoji, what is that? Make a brand new Genmoji right in the keyboard to match any conversation. Provide a description to see a preview and adjust your description until it's just perfect. You can even pick someone from your photos library, again, just like Image Playground, and create a Genmoji that looks like them. So you can take a picture of your mom, your sister, your dad, probably even your dog or cat, and generate an AI image of them. So the first Apple Intelligence features will be available starting with iOS 18.1, which is likely to be released to the public in October. These features include new writing tools for generating and summarizing text messages or text on your screen. Side note, that's what I use the most on my Samsung devices with this AI on Galaxy AI. That's what I use the most. So I'll come across news articles, tech news, right? And instead of reading this long article where there's a bunch of words that quite honestly, they just throw in there to satisfy the Google search algorithm, because in Google Ads, how that works is they tend to choose articles that are over 1,000 words in length. So if you like to do something sweet, straight to the point, like I do in my news articles, Google's not really placing that in the search. They want nice long form articles. Well, I don't want to read long form. I want to the point. I got stuff to do. I want to read a little paragraph or two, and that's it. Well, that's what I do with my Samsung Galaxy AI. I'll take a long article, and just simply with a touch of a button, it summarizes the whole article in 2 to 3 paragraphs, and it just gives you the who, what, when, where, and why. Boom. There you go. You're off and running. So that feature is going to come to iPhone. Trust me, if you haven't used that before, you're going to love it. A sports article, anything. Something in the news, a burglary happened, and you want to summarize the article. Boom. There you go. It's very handy. You're also going to get suggested replies in iMessage. The ability to record and transcribe phone calls. Also a new cleanup tool in Photos app that can quickly remove objects from a photo, as well as a few others. Let's see, Apple Intelligence. So Apple AI will require an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max or better, meaning or the entire iPhone 16 lineup. So if you have an iPhone 14 Pro, iPhone 13 Pro, you're not going to be getting these features. You're going to, at the very least, have an iPhone 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max, and you're going to have to be on iOS 18.1 or later, or get one of the new iPhone 16 models. So any one of the 16, only the Pro and Pro Max out of the 15 series works with this Apple AI, but all 4 of the new devices that they're launching tomorrow will be able to run Apple AI. So if you're interested in those couple of cool things, look, a lot of this is just, they throw a lot of this AI crap in there. You're not going to use half the stuff. I mean, you probably will when you first get the phone, try each little thing out. But on a day-to-day basis, like I think Galaxy AI, they announced like 7 or 8 new features. I use 2, and that's it on a daily basis, right? And I'm sure most iPhone users will be the same way. So we got through the price hike, unfortunately. Now, let's get into this. You're getting new CarPlay features with iOS 18.1. You're also getting, let's move to the Apple Watch Series 10. So this new Apple Watch Series 10, look, they're not going to reinvent the wheel, right? Apple's not going to Apple's not going to fix something that's not broken, right? That old term. So the Apple Watch, the highest selling smartwatch of all time, in very classic design, classic look. When somebody has it on their wrist, you know they got an Apple Watch. That's why I like my good old Samsung watch. It's going to look the same on surface. What they are going to do is make it thinner, so it does not sit up off your wrist much higher. They're going to make it very thin. They're using the same technology that they're going to use on the iPhone 17 Air, that new PCB board that Apple is infusing the motherboard in all of its components that normally sit on top of the motherboard. Apple is infusing them together to make a thinner device. And they're going to implement that new technology here on the Apple Watch 10. But you won't see that implemented in any iPhones until the iPhone 17 Air. So you're still going to have to wait about another year, and then we'll get the 17 Air, which people's heads are going to explode when they see it. I am famously an Apple hater. And my head's probably going to explode when I see it. So, I don't know if Apple, I'm sure they did, right? Patented that new technology where they merge the motherboard and the components that usually that are soldered on top of the motherboard, but now they're fusing them together to make one straight plane. That's how they get these devices thinner and thinner and thinner. I don't know if they patented that, but I can guarantee you're going to see thinner devices moving into the Android world here in the next, 1, 2, 3 years. I mean, it's a given. I'm not sure how they can scoot around the laws as far as patents go, but I can guarantee you these Android devices are going to get thinner and thinner and thinner as well. In fact, here is the Apple Watch Series 10. It's hard to tell, like I said, looking down at the watch, but when you put on looking at it from the side, or if you put it on your wrist, you're going to be able to tell a huge difference. It is going to be thinner. Now, when you get thinner devices, what's the very first thing, the downside of a thin device? Heat. Heat. So when you make something that generates heat and you shrink what's around that source, that heat source, if you shrink around that heat source and make the area around it smaller, well, it generates less room for that heat to dissipate. We all know the iPhone 15 series, specifically 15 Pro, and even more specifically the iPhone 15 Pro Max, has been dealt this year or the past year with massive overheating issues. Now, Apple put out an update to quote-unquote solve the issue, but all they did was underclock the CPU. So when it gets ramped up, when you're playing a game, when you're doing a bunch of 4K videos, what have you, when the CPU really gets ramped up, normally it would get really hot. Well, what Apple did in that update is just it'll get less hot because it's essentially running slower. Now, it's something you're really going to have to keep an eye on as a consumer. And you're going to have to really test your device out right when you get them, whether it's a new Apple Watch Series 10 or it's a new iPhone 16 series. Push it to its limits as much as possible in the first 2 weeks or whatever your return date is, right? I think it's 2 weeks for Apple or T-Mobile or Verizon. Push it to its limits. If it overheats, you really have to consider returning it, because I guarantee you, if we have this same issue again this year, Apple's going to do the same exact thing as they did last year. They're going to push an update out, and all it's going to do is underclock the CPU, meaning slow it down. And you have to make a decision as a consumer. Do I want to deal with this for the next year? Because they're not solving the problem. They're just kind of throwing a blanket over it, basically. So listen, for Apple's sake, I hope they don't face this problem. For Android's sake, I point and laugh. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. We will have to wait and see. Yes, I will laugh. Okay. Apple Watch Series 9, Apple Watch SE 2 stock running low ahead of new models. Okay. So next year with this new, speaking of something that generates heat, this is why they couldn't get their modem going. So starting with the Apple iPhone 17 Air, next year's iPhones, we'll keep this a little short and sweet, but just keep a reminder, Apple is using Qualcomm modems. Speaking of modems, the Pixel 9 Pro XL battery life is insanely good just because they simply upgraded to a better modem. Modem is the heart of your device, and it controls connectivity, whether it's carrier services, data towers connecting to your carrier services, T-Mobile data, Verizon. I don't know, and it also hosts and deals with the Wi-Fi connectivity. So basically, it controls the network, right, of your device. Well, Apple uses Qualcomm modems for all Apple devices. Apple has been working on this for years, over 7 years. Next year, starting with the iPhone 17, Apple's going to implement, they're cutting the cord with Qualcomm, one of the last few major suppliers that Apple is cutting ties with next year. And they're going to implement their own modem next year. They've had so many issues with it, with creating their own because of heat and poor performance. So we'll have to wait and see what this looks like for Apple. Now, the iPhone 16 series tomorrow, still going to have the Qualcomm modem, right? Next year, iPhone 17, they're going to have its own Apple modem. Now, if you're wondering, well, I wonder what big suppliers are left for iPhone. Now, of course, there's little components like a speaker or a vibrator, a vibration motor. And who knows? I don't know. Apple could manufacture that themselves, but I'm guessing they're getting a supplier that makes all those speakers or makes all the vibration motors, and then they're purchasing millions of those and putting them in iPhones. But the last huge major supplier of components is the screen. So Apple uses, I think it's BDE and Samsung for display suppliers. And I've heard reports that Apple is even considering buying BDE or buying a display manufacturer to even cut ties with Samsung, right? So they want to manufacture and make every component of their product. And I mean, if they want to do that, and more power to them. You know, I get it. That's why I'm anticipating. I'm so excited for the Pixel line, because next year is when Pixel moves to their own Google CPU, right? So now Google uses Samsung for their displays as well, but Samsung makes beautiful displays, so I don't, whatever. But anyways, so that's what we can expect. So join us tomorrow. I will do I don't know if I'll go at 10 a.m., but expect an earlier podcast tomorrow, and we'll go over all the stuff that was released. If you're an Apple hater like I am, then, if you don't catch it, no harm, no foul. I'm doing it because I cover technology. If I didn't have this YouTube channel, I wouldn't care. But join us. We'll make it fun. We'll make fun of Apple. It'll be a good old time, right? Let's get into some Android news. So, there is a report of the new S25 Ultra. Check this out. Check this out. So, it looks like there's a new leak that shows the S25's dimensions. New dimensions, may I add. So we know roughly what the S25 Ultra is going to look like, right? It's going to have these squircle camera sensors, right? Half circle, half square. It's going to look the same, right? Basically, it's going to have a flat display. It's going to have a flat back. It's going to have flat sides. But the design is changing a little bit. Now, when I say design, I actually mean the size of it. The height, width, and the depth is going to change. So people that loved the Note 20 Ultra, one of my favorite devices, you're going to rejoice because it's going to take the shape of the of the Note 20 Ultra. So the S25 Ultra is going to be a little taller than the S24 Ultra. The S25 Ultra is going to be a little wider than the S24 Ultra. And the S25 Ultra is going to be thinner than the S24 Ultra. It's going to be taller, wider, and thinner. Taller, wider, and thinner than the S24 Ultra. Now, why does Samsung do this? It's going to be wider. So many of y'all know, and speaking of the iPhone release tomorrow, this S24 Ultra is one of the harder devices to actually use with one hand. If you're considering buying an iPhone 16 Pro Max, just keep this in mind. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is jumping up to a 6.9-inch display. The S24 Ultra, as I mentioned, hard to use with one hand, is a 6.8-inch display. So this new iPhone 16 Pro Max is going to be ginormous. So those of y'all that are already struggling to use an iPhone 15 Pro Max with one hand, just know that if you order the 16 Pro Max, it's going to be that much harder to use with one hand. So two things that come to mind when Samsung changes the dimensions of their flagship. For one thing, the very first thing that I think of is, of course, they're changing the design so none of the cases fit from last year, so we have to go out and shell out more money for these accessories. And I can almost guarantee you that's the sole reason. Honestly, these companies are in business to make money. So forcing consumers to buy new accessories for these devices, look, these companies make so much money on accessories, so it costs them almost nothing to make these, right? Almost nothing. Now, Samsung, how much do they go for? $40 a case for their cases, and it probably costs them a couple bucks to make it. I mean, the markup is insane. A couple of dollars, and then they're charging you $40. It's a big markup. And then they're selling millions of them. It's a lot of money. So I think that's why they're doing it. But the other, I would like to think, reason is it's easier to use it with one hand, right? Or it's easier to use. And it gets back to the ever so loved classic Note 20 Ultra. Now, I don't think that was, let's make it like the Note 20 Ultra. I don't think that came to mind. I think the money came to mind. But I mean, it's cool. I mean, I guess, be easier to use if it's a little thinner. But remember, it's going to be a little wider. Now, we're not talking massive, distance wider. We're talking like a millimeter, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if in your hand, it does make a difference. It does. 1 millimeter, honestly, I can tell, makes a huge difference the way how it feels in your hand and or when you're using it, right? Makes a big difference. What else we got here? Any other Android news? Well, duh, I had it on my own website. So let's look at the dimensions so you don't think I'm making this up. So Ice Universe, who breaks a lot of these Samsung stories, said that the S25 Ultra is going to be 162.8 millimeters tall, 77.6 millimeters wide, and 8.2 millimeters thin, compared to last year, which was 162.3 millimeters tall, 79 millimeters wide, and 8.6 millimeters thickness. Now, 162.8 versus 162.3, it's half a millimeter taller. 77 up. See, I'm glad I checked the numbers. 77.6 millimeters wide compared to last year's 79 millimeters wide. And then 8.2 millimeters thickness compared to last year's 8.6. So, let me readjust your brain here. The thought. The S25 Ultra is going to be taller. It's going to be thinner and slimmer. So, it'll be taller. But how wide it is, it's going to get thinner, and it's going to get not as wide and thinner. If that makes so. The only difference, the only place it increases in the dimensions is taller. So that means it's going to have a little taller screen, which is fine because I like this form factor. Hang on. I like this form factor. It is tall. It fits in your hand easier, so that will make a difference. It will be easier to use if it's not as wide and it's actually thinner. So it'll take the form, not necessarily look just like this, but this is so easy to use. It's a tall display, but it's so easy to use compared to something like this. Okay. And I will put out a Pixel 9 Pro review this week. I'm also going to put out a bunch of case reviews. So please stay tuned. Please stay tuned. I'm going to have a bunch of case reviews coming up. You got anything on Android Authority? Nope. They didn't have any new articles. What's up with this? Device specs. So this gaming tablet looks cool. Nubia Red Magic Gaming Tablet Pro. The Red Magic Nova debuts with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and then real active cooling. That looks cool. Honor Magic V3 and Honor Magic Pad 2 12.3 are launched in Europe. So Honor Magic's coming out with a tablet. What is this? Vivo new device. Honor 200 budget phone. TCL Tab 11 Gen 2. Looks to be a cheaper, more inexpensive tablet. And then you got a bunch of smaller TCL phones getting released. I've never had a TCL phone. HMD, that's the name I was trying to think of earlier, brings back the modular design. Anyways, if you see any articles that interest you, go to esimstudios.app. I got the slimmed down version. Remember how earlier I said I hate to have these long ass articles where they just throw in information you don't need? Well, I have the original articles here. However, before I post them, I've had them slimmed down. So you're not reading a 1,000-word news article. You're reading like, I don't know, a 500-word article. So, esimstudios.app. Daniel says, caseless though, Fold 6 cases suck, too bulky. Yes, thank you. That's why I told all the case companies for this Flip 6 not to send me anything. I hate cases on these foldables. They're the worst. They're the absolute worst. I don't like any. I've never come across any case that I like using a foldable. Now, I've had the Flip series dating back to the first gen, but haven't had the Fold, but I can imagine it would be the same thing. These cases add bulk. It's too cumbersome. It's just bulky in your pocket. It gets stuck in the fabric in your pocket when you're pulling it out. That's why I got insurance and I'm rocking this with no case, because I freaking hate. I said, you know what, this year I'm going to buy insurance and I'm going no case. And it looks like, yeah, Daniel, yep, you may be doing the same thing. I cannot wait till the OnePlus Open 2 comes out. No new news on that. But we're thinking it might take on the form factor somewhat of that new Honor. What is it? Honor Magic? Is it the V3? Should be out early 2025. So I'm gonna try to get that one. Again, I've never had a foldable. Only had the Flips. So I think my first foldable might be that OnePlus device. We will see. Daniel says, I would love some thin phones if we can make it work. The trend didn't go so well last time. Tried to make it in the 2010s. I like the Moto Z, though, with its modules if you wanted more battery. Yes, I used to love my... what was it? I had all of them. I think I had up to the Z4, but I think the Z2 or Z3 were one of my favorite devices. Yo, they were so thin back then. You're right. I forgot about that, how thin they were. Yeah, was it the Z2 or Z3? Very, very, very thin. It was a big phone. Very thin. By the way, I am streaming on Twitch, which I just signed up for an account last week, so I think I've got like 4 or 5 episodes on Twitch. And somebody on Twitch here commented, cheap viewers on Sync Pulse. Okay. I think what is my Twitch handle? It's probably eSIM Studios, right? I'm that all across the board. It's a pretty unique name, and don't try to get ahead now, guys. I've already made accounts under all sorts of platforms with the handle eSIM Studios. I was worried that somebody was going to get eSIM Studios handle and then like charge me like $1,000 for it. Two phone Nelson. I got one better for Flossy. I'm how should I say it? 10 phones Harold? 10 phones Harry? I actually sold a couple, but I still have a lot over here. So, oh no, I always carry 2 phones. Of course, I have a personal phone, and then I have a phone that I use for my online business, and just so I can carry 2 phones. I don't know. It's not like I'm trying to show off or anything, but I like having 2 devices. I have my Flip, and then I have a classic style candy bar phone. So, and I like to have a Samsung and a OnePlus. Or Samsung and a nothing. I don't know. Just habit I've been getting into, but definitely 2 phone Nelson over here. Universe, thank you for joining us. This stream is about technology. Now, since you're new, we normally you're not going to see me with headphones on, but they sent them for me to review for free. So I'm simply doing a stream with them so I can take a clip of this stream and then put it in my review. But we discuss technology. We do a live stream every day. Now, I am, I guess, biased, and I'm Android heavy on this channel. However, as you could tell from today's stream, we do discuss Apple. I do have a couple iPhones here. I do plan on getting the iPhone 16 Pro tomorrow. But we also cover some PC news and just talk tech, right? So I do tech reviews, unboxings, case reviews, anything in the tech world. So that's what we do over here. I'm gonna Brian asked, are you gonna restream the Apple event? They are notorious for being dickheads, pardon my French, with streaming stuff. So I doubt they will flag me if I, how we did the Samsung stream with the, I can rebroadcast the Samsung stream to where you could tune into my channel and you'd be seeing the same thing as if you were tuned into the Samsung channel. If I do that with Apple, they're gonna issue me a strike, meaning essentially get me in trouble on YouTube for I don't own the rights, right, to that broadcast. Samsung doesn't care, which is cool, right? If I was a big company, I wouldn't care either. Get as many people viewing this as possible, but Apple, they're in the rare position to where they can tell everybody to go F off and they'll still be completely fine. Not many companies honestly have that much leeway in any industry. Car industry, food and beverage industry, clothing industry, technology industry. Apple is like one, if the only. Well, there may be a handful of companies that can say F you to anybody and they'll be fine. But I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I'm going to do probably if I can wake up on time. I plan to do this stream at like 10 in the morning and I blew through my alarm. I think we're going to do this form and then I'll find a way to where we can view something live and discuss it. Was that a good idea? Damn, they raised the price $200. Damn, why did they do that? We'll be able to comment on it live. So, that there are some, like on Twitter, I think there'll be people live. What do they call it? They're not rebroadcasting the event, but live updates, right? Well, they'll send a live tweet out and be like, I don't know, iPhone 16 Pro, $70 more expensive, whatever. I'll figure something out, but check my channel. There's a possibility I miss it because I'm a dope and I go to bed too late, and which means I can't wake up on time, but I'll have something for y'all, whether it's during or on the second half of the stream or on the even after it's over. Now I plan on getting one, so I might during the stream I might have to take a little 5-minute break to order one, but we'll definitely have it. And yes, I will be making fun of Apple every chance I get, but it is what it is. So shall we do a giveaway? So what do I have? I have an official Pixel Fast PD charger and cable. I have a t-shirt I can give away. I think I'm going to save one for tomorrow. And then what else did I have? Because I got to get out of here. I've been on too long. Let's see. Pixel 9 Pro. Did anybody get the Pixel 9 Pro? I have a bunch of Pixel 9 Pro cases here. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I say make fun of, and it's all in, yeah, I think y'all know me by now. Like, yes, they make a fantastic product, and honestly, I may be a little bit jealous, but I personally think Android is the better operating system. And again, I like iPhone. I like the way they look. I just hate using them. So it'll be a lighthearted. I'm not going to shit on them. I'm not going to make it an event where I just shit on them all day. I'm going to be buying one, right? So I must like them a little bit, right? I just think it's funny that they banned me in the past for, I guess, criticizing them. So, but it is what it is. Whatever. Now, I got you. I thought you were serious. I think next year is the revolutionary product. I think the 17 Air is is the product that we can tie that word to. This year, they'll be all right. I mean, they're going to be good devices. But next year is the 17 Air. That's when everything changes, especially the year after that with the iPhone Flip. That's when, woo, you can talk about people going crazy, standing out in lines outside the store, sleeping overnight. It's going to be one of those things again next year or the year after that. So, yes, there's a lot of things Android did first that nobody wants to admit, but it is what it is. Or, you know what? I do have a mouse, a gaming mouse. Did everybody get a Pixel? Because I have a bunch of Pixel cases. Let's just do this. I think most of y'all have a Pixel. Let's do this. Let's save the mouse for tomorrow. If y'all want to enter, I'll do one real quick. Let's do hashtag case, and I'll send you a case. Damn, I still need to get Brian his Amazon gift card. Let me write this down, Brian. Hang on. Damn it, I always forget. Hang on. But this time I have the cases in store. So if you want a case, I have cases for most Pixel devices. Okay. So I'll get that to you, Brian. Yeah, let's do hashtag case, and I got y'all. It could be in, we'll see. Whoever wins, I'll contact them, see what phone you have, and then I'll give you, I have lots of cases for different phones, Pixels mainly. And whatever you have, I'll reach out to you and get y'all squared away. Let me do hashtag case, just like Daniel did right here. Put that in the chat, and I got you on a case. Let's see. Why don't y'all put hashtag case in the chat while I set this up real quick, and then that'll be it for the day, and I'll see y'all in the morning. StreamYard giveaway. Hashtag CASE. Share this tab. All right, y'all got it? Damn, Daniel may be the default winner. Going once. I think most everybody left already. See, that's why, one of the reasons why I'm trying to cap the podcast at about, or this live stream at about 30 minutes, because I was looking at the analytics mostly after 30 minutes. Mostly after 30 minutes, the viewers drop a little bit. Attention spans are pretty short. There we go. Dr. Joe 1 blew in for the late entry at the last second. All right, what'll be, let's see, if you got one more, I'll give you another few seconds. Hang on. Yeah, no kidding. Very, very short attention spans. It's all good. I got to get out of here. Let's run this. We got another one? All right, let's go. All right. Congratulations to you, sir. Daniel with the win. I'll get with you behind the scenes here in a minute. I'm going to get Brian his Amazon gift card, and then I will... reach out to you. And I know you got a couple devices that I can get you a case for. So appreciate the show. Appreciate the viewership. Join us tomorrow. I'll put a community post out tomorrow. Again, I'm going to shoot for 10 a.m., but knowing myself a little too well, I don't know how that's going to go, but I'll start the stream sometime around the Apple event. So just stay tuned, and we'll have fun tomorrow. So hope everybody had a really good weekend. Please enjoy the Sunday evening. Please be safe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.